Welcome to Retail Crime Uncovered, the go-to podcast for anything and everything retail crime related. I'm your host, Professor Emmeline Taylor. So I'm joined this week by Farrah McNutt. She's the founder of To Catch a Thief, really fantastic company that has been evolving over recent years, focusing on shoplifting, but also branching out into doing other services and investing in education, which Farrah's going to talk to us about. Farrah, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Honestly, I've just been totally fangirling because you've been on so many different, I see you on the telly, I turn on the radio, you're on it.
Saying that, and I'm like, they're like, you're on TV. I'm like, which channel?
I know, and you always like, not you, but like, yeah, if people say that to me as well, sort of like, oh, I saw you on something, and instead of going, oh, I'm like, what was it, which one? And then they're just like, oh, check her out, what a diva. But look, we're actually on the same Channel 5 show at the moment. Yeah. Gosh,
I was on there as well, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was on the radio thing, and then I heard you on the radio as well, and I was like, okay.
I know, we're doing the same circuits. I love it. It's brilliant. And I'm aware it's in the middle of school holidays as well. So, yeah, double appreciation. I know how manic that can be when you've got children at home as well.
I know, don't, but they're nice and quiet, so it's good.
Yeah, and I'm sure very well behaved having you as their mum. They'll know the consequences if they play up.
So my son, he actually enjoys, like coding and stuff. So I'm hoping he'll go into preventing cybercrime in the future, because that's where the future is as well.
Oh, definitely. That's so exciting. Do you find that your children are sort of inspired by the work that you're doing?
Yeah, yeah, they are, definitely. So they've all helped me do this as well. So coming up with stuff and even little things like, doing documents and that. Oh, can I help with that? Or I'm doing printing and I'm like guillotining. Can I help you do that? Yeah, absolutely. You can do the laminating. That's fine.
Oh, fantastic. So you've got your apprentices like all set up and ready to, family, continue the family business. That's so cool. Oh, fantastic. And I bet as well, like at school, they must just be so proud of you to say, so, my mum was on the telly, or she's doing all this exciting, crime related work.
Yeah, they all get excited, jumping up and down when a TV comes on. Farrah's on TV, or you're on TikTok.
But yeah, because I've been aware of your company for a couple of years now, but it seems like it's really mushroomed and grown just in the past. Do you feel that you're getting so much more exposure and?
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the education side of it as well. That's the main exposure we wanted, was to educate, help and support people and everything. So yeah, definitely. And we've got some services that we've only just integrated, which I think is getting us more attention as well, because when we first started, it was just public appeals and the warning signs. And then we've integrated all these other services as well, which I think getting us the attention.
So, tell me a bit about Catch a Thief then. Like, how did it come about? How long has your company been in existence?
Well, I thought of it in 2014. I didn't know nothing about the Data Protection Act, because that's what it was then. It was the Data Protection Act. I didn't know anything about the laws regulating or anything like this. I just done a bit of research and found out that 3.3 million thefts went unreported. And I was like, why are they going unreported? CCTV's there. Why are they actually going unreported? Has CCTV not got a voice? Because everything is caught on there. So I started looking a bit in. I started talking to the police. I started talking to Prince's Trust. In 2015, the Prince's Trust helped me get my first laptop. My very first laptop. So they gave me a grant towards that and some software for editing blurring faces. So I spoke to them, and it was kind of like what would have stopped me, because when I was very young, 14 years old, I went out and actually shoplifted. And when I went out and I was doing it, it was just so easy. And I thought, what would have stopped me? What would have made me stop? And then I was like, well, public appeals and, you know, showing that something's actually being done would have stopped me. So that's what I pushed forward. And once I went through Prince's Trust, it took us a couple of years to work out stuff. But I finally got our first member in 2017. Then 2018 GDPR come out, so I had to learn it all again.
Yeah. How do you go about learning that? Like, do you go on courses, or, you know, are you just sort of self-taught, making sure that, you know, because the legal parameters sometimes can be a bit mind-boggling in terms of what you can and can't do?
So my mentor for Prince's Trust was absolutely amazing. So I go on the ICO website and I read all through the GDPR. I look for our legal basis and everything like that. I look to what you can do, what you can't do. Like children, for example, we can't do anything with the children footage or anything unless we blur their faces and say, basically, we know who you are, or we contact the school and do it all behind scenes.
Yeah.
So there's certain little bits that obviously we can't do under GDPR, which I completely understand. It's you know, it's safeguarding, and that's important, and that's what we want to keep in as well, that we're safeguarding people, they are getting the help and support they want as well. So that was another thing as well, people going, well, I haven't got no house, I've got, you know, I'm stealing a sandwich and a Red Bull, I've got no house or anything like that, and I'm hungry. So and then we started thinking, what can we put in place for these people that, you know, will go in there? And this was before the cost of living. So we were thinking what to put in place. So there's food banks, there's fridges, community fridges even, there's shelters and everything like this. So we put all them in a document, and then the staff printed them off, put them behind the till. Anyone that's caught stealing sandwiches, loaf of breads, milks, or anything like that, then we point them in the right direction to the help and support. Because it's not about condemning everyone for doing it. It's finding out reasons why they're doing it. And then after you find out the reasons why they do it, then you can take the appropriate action to stop it.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's the thing, you know, offenders are so different. And if you can tackle the root causes of why they're committing crime, I think that's the most effective way, isn't it? Rather than just, you know, going down a punishment angle. So just in terms of the services, what do you provide to your clients then? Like what's you know, what's on offer from Catch a Thief?
So the basic membership is public appeals. We do that for the community side, so that's mainly donations. And then from the public appeals, we have the warning signs, warning announcement in stores as well, so they know what's going to happen or anything like this if they do continue to steal from there. We give banner notices to our members, so they're able to fill them out. And some of our members get the PCSOs in to help them serve the banner notices, which is really good. We do matching faces. We're partnered with Super Recognisers International, so we're able to match suspects and faces as well across borders, which is really important because it's just something that's not done at the moment across the border.
And so you're using super matches, so like actual human beings rather than facial recognition technology.
So we do facial recognition technologies as well, but obviously there's a human element to everything in technology. So you've got to have that human verification at the end. And that Super Recognisers International is absolutely amazing for that. Obviously, we've got facial recognition, and then we've got the AI, real-time AI as well, that can see if someone put something in a bag or in a jacket or under a pushchair or something, it gives a notification.
Ooh, what sort of results are you seeing from that? Because this is quite new technology, isn't it? It's not, I mean, it's not quite mainstream yet. It's almost like wizardry, I feel like, the way that this works. Like, how, you know, are you seeing great results from that AI technology?
Yeah, and some of the stores that get the AI in, so they have about 4 thefts, and then it gets round that they've got the AI technology in, and obviously it reduces it from word of mouth. The word of mouth is so powerful. Like, that's what I say to the staff. Tell them you've got this. Tell them that if something does happen, then this will happen, sort of thing. Tell your regular customers, and they will tell everyone, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I think people forget just how important that is. The criminal fraternity, they talk to each other. They do their research, don't they, to find the sort of low risk options. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they do like the easy options. With all that, obviously, we give the help and support, and then we're going into doing manned security guards as well.
Ah, okay, great.
2024 goal. So by the end of 2024, I'm hoping, because obviously it is a big step, like going into manned security and that, I'm hoping that we'll have some security guards.
Wow, fantastic. That's brilliant. Yeah, just sort of seeing how it's evolving and, more and more services being brought in and sort of plugged in dependent on what the particular issues are for each sort of store or each client. So you're saying that you're moving into sort of education space. Tell me a bit about that.
So the educating side, so I do TikToks and I do filming and stuff like that, and that's more for the education. But I really want to start talking in schools as well, because I think the awareness from when you're younger, like 9, 10 years old sort of age, I was about 13, 14, but I know that some people would need it when they're 9 or 10. So if you look at that sort of situation, showing them, what effects it has, who are the victims, and educating them on what effect this has on the community, I think that's our future forward, because children are our future at the end of the day. So if children are our future, that's where we should be looking and, giving them a different mindset on how this actually is affecting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's still that view, isn't it, that it's a victimless crime, nobody's getting hurt. The companies build it into their profits anyway. And so is that the kind of thing that you'd want to challenge for young people who might not have heard an alternative perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that was one thing for me when I was younger. I didn't really know that. I had the older lot telling me, you're 13, you don't get a criminal record. If you do, then it will be wiped at 18. They claim off their insurance. There's no victims or anything. And you see it as, there's loads on the shelf there. If I take one item, then that's not going to make a difference, sort of thing. But you don't actually get to speak to any victims. I did get caught and stuff, so I took it taken back home to my mum in the police car and stuff, but there was no communication between me and a store owner. Now, if I actually what this effect was having, would I have carried on doing it, because there's victims here and everything? I don't know, obviously, because I'd never got that chance. So I want to give people that chance, especially teenagers and younger. I want to give a chance to actually know that information before going out and doing anything.
Yeah. And hearing you talk, it sounds quite similar to like restorative justice, where, offenders and victims are brought together to discuss the harm that has been caused by a crime, and the offenders then beginning to understand that, even low value theft can have a real impact on somebody, and, particularly their mental health or feeling threatened. That sounds really fantastic. You've been very open about your background as a former shoplifter, sort of starting in your teenage years. What was happening back then? Like, how do you think you were sort of drawn into that world?
So I did get bullied at school, and one thing that I got bullied was over my trousers. My mum said I went through trousers like no other, and she was constantly buying them, sort of thing. And I had this hole in my trousers, and I tried to sew it up, but I mustn't have tied the knot properly because it come back undone anyway. And I just got sick of them, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in the store and I'm just going to change my trousers. So I changed my trousers. And I put these new ones on, and that was the start of it. After I'd done that, and I realised, well, I got away with that, and can I get anything else? And anything. Then we were just getting into makeup at 13, so my friends and that were coming to school with makeup and stuff like that. So I started taking them, sort of thing. I haven't got no record or anything. I've come out, but it would have stopped me if I knew the impact. I didn't really even think of putting myself in the staff members' shoes, like what it would have been like for them as well. And don't even think of doing that. You just think of getting the product and getting out, and
Yeah.
you're my own selfish want.
It's such a, it's quite a common pattern, I think, particularly, for people in their teens to be, there's lots going on in teenagers' lives, isn't there? There's lots of stresses, as you say, sort of bullying, sort of peer pressure, and also sort of testing boundaries as well, sort of, is anybody going to apprehend me for this? What do you think was the moment then for you that you thought, okay, no, I'm not gonna continue on this path? When did you decide to sort of turn things around? Did anything happen in your life that you thought, oh, this is not for me?
So I got pregnant with my son, and I stopped doing everything. I stopped hanging around with the older lot. I was drinking in that at that age as well, so I stopped doing everything like that, and I started reclining back and really looking at how I want my life to be, what I want life to be for my son and stuff like that. So after I did that, I sort of went, well, what can I do in life? Like, I wanted to be a chef when I was younger.
Okay, cool.
It was like, I want to own a restaurant, I want to do this. I'd worked in a nursery, and I worked in catering and stuff like that. And I was like, do you know what? There's something more out there. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. And it just fell in my lap from the universe one day. And I say it like that because it really did. It was like, I was like asking the universe, like, give me something here. Like, what can I do? And then them statistics and that just fell in my lap. And I was like, okay, so let's look into this. And then it just went from there.
Wow. And then you just had the idea. I mean, you've got all the skills, you've got the knowledge, you've got the experience. That's really rare in this industry to have. I always talk about the offenders being the experts, because they're the ones trying to work out any, security, how to evade the cameras, etc. And so, I mean, what a brilliant brainwave to have, to sort of just go full circle. How did you then go about actually setting up the business? That is no easy undertaking.
So I've got to say, Prince's Trust helped me out loads here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they did the business plan with me. They did all the leaflets. They made me do my market research. They made me, so they was like, and they even put me on a course called Talent Match. It was a media and marketing course where we built my confidence, and we spoke about the way I was speaking and stuff, because a lot of the times at that age, I was about 19, 20 when I set it up. I'd say in it, and there'd be a lot of, slang words used.
Right, which I find really refreshing. I mean, people always say that about my accent, when I sort of, like, I'm from the north of England, and from Manchester, that's never gonna go. But I think when I'm in a sort of academic setting and I say, oh, I'm a professor, people are like, you don't sound like one. So that's so funny that you then had to train into. What did your friends then say? Did they say that you sound different?
Yeah, so a lot of them friends that I had when I was 13, 14 were like 19, 20 and older. So I stopped hanging around with them and stopped associating with them. I had to obviously leave a lot of people and not so associate with them. It was either I'm on that side or that side, so I can't be in the middle.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Okay, so you've had your training through Prince's Trust. You've got your idea, you've got your business plan, you've done your market research. How do you then launch the company?
So I just put it on the website. So we made our own website and everything. I went to the police on my first website, and I was like, do you want to partner with us? And they looked at it and they went, it's a little too American because of my the way we set it out. So they were like, sort that out. So and then we had to refresh it and go all again. But in 2017, I had my first member contact me, and they were like, look, we've got this really big problem. I put on Google on how to stop it, and yours has come up. What can you do to help, sort of thing? And I let him know, obviously, that it is our first member, because he was like, how many people have you got and everything like this. And he was like, okay, let's try it in my store. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I know. I had a good dance after that.
I mean, but just brilliant as well that they were willing, you must have, you've got that sort of authenticity, I think, and that's obviously partly what they could see. So yeah, give it a try. And then so then you started focusing on that one store.
Yeah, and then obviously we did do trial runs with different stores before that store come, but they were the first member. But yeah, there was a couple of things that needed changing and stuff like this, like the warning signs. We changed the colour of them, and that to make them stand out more. And that was sort of the feedback that he was giving us to what we was changing it with. There was certain bits on how the staff deals with things and stuff. So there was like, we call them little hurdles, like that we didn't expect in the road. So we had to get through them hurdles and get over to the other side as well. But he was absolutely amazing, that member. He was like, do you know what, Farrah? Let's try it. Anything I come up with, I'm like, do you want to try it? Yeah. Do you know what? Let's try it. Wow. It was absolutely amazing. So without his help and support at the very first as well, I'm not even too sure. He used to shout and sing our praises. Like Sunita, she's still a member now. But Raj, her husband, who sadly passed away in 2020, was the first member.
Wow, gosh, I think it's brilliant that there was somebody that was then championing you and the business, and to then see it grow so much from that, you must feel really proud. It's really great. Let's talk a bit about crime then. There's been so much noise on this recently. The statistics that keep coming out, it's getting worse and worse, more violence, more aggression, more theft, higher volume. You mentioned underreporting before as well, and that seems to have got worse, that as crime's increasing, it seems that a lower proportion of it is actually then being reported. So we've got such an issue in this country. What sort of things are you observing in and around shops? What are your sort of main concerns that, sort of new trends that you're picking up on?
I think they're getting more brazen by what I'm seeing on CCTV, and that I'm looking and I'm like, that's really confident and brazen to go in there like that and basically tell the staff, you can't do nothing, you can't touch me or anything like this. We're walking straight out of the store. It wasn't like that before. It was, you'd want to get in and out as fast as possible, not being seen by the staff, no communication or anything like that. And now there's a certain type of offenders that will go in there and they'll just be like, pick a crate of beer up, what are you going to do? See ya, sort of thing. And it's like, well, hang on, how do we get to them people then? Why are they doing it? And how do we then educate that person? Or if we can't educate them, then what sort of consequences can we put in place to make them stop?
Because it used to be that offenders would sort of try and hide their identity, they'd avoid the cameras, they might wear a disguise. But when you see offenders, as you say, so brazen that they're actually taunting the staff, saying, yeah, come on, what you can do, call the police, good luck with that. That signals to me that they feel there is literally no consequences. Either they're not going to get reported. If they are, the police aren't going to come out. If the police do come out, they slap on the wrist, or it just seems at each point the chances of it being pursued, it's just dropping off. What do you think's increasing this sort of level of sort of brazen theft?
Nothing being done with the CCTV. If they're not seeing anything being done with it, then why would they stop? They're not getting reported. So, like you said, a lot of people isn't even reporting the incident. So if they're not even reporting the incident, how do they expect it to stop as well? Because there's a line, you're supposed to report every single incident, and then we can match them up to other incidents as well. So if they have gone into 5 different stores, and then 5 different stores that then can come together and say, well, we've matched this person here, we've matched them here, we've matched them that. And that's part of what our website does as well. So we're able to see, well, actually that person's gone into that store. Or if we've got one store in the area, then we're like, okay, so this person seems to be a regular or repeat offender sort of thing. Let's phone the other stores and see if they've had a problem sort of thing. And then you do the investigation side and you match the suspects to one store to another store, and then put it together and go, here you go, to the police. You go, here you go. There's all the things that you need. There's the CCTV and the entrance, concealment and exit that you need. And here's all of the stuff. And then it makes it so much easier for them as well. And I'm not, the police they haven't got the resources. That's what I get told by the police themselves. Haven't got the resources to deal with this. So if they haven't got the resources, then it's up to the security companies, it's up to the other people to make the awareness about this and make sure that something is being done as well.
Definitely. What's the response that you get from the police then, when you hand over that file and just say, look, here's the person, probably that, their name and address, these are all the offences and here's your evidence. Do they welcome that, or do they still think, we've got no resources? Or I guess it may be a mixed bag.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mixed bag. So there's times that we've put them together and we've gone, look, this is who this is, that we've been told by this person, and they're sometimes they're anonymous reports that we get, or sometimes they're like, absolutely, pass my number over to police, I'll be happy to say I know who that person is. So we're like, this is this person, and this is another person who said that, they know the person, and these are other stores that have said that they've gone into their store as well. And one person got convicted, got a criminal behaviour order after having a rehabilitation order. And then we've had another case where we put it all together, we gave them the address and that, and they've turned around and said, I'm not going to send anyone out to the address or anything like this. So it is completely a mixed bag. And then the thing is, if more evidence comes to light later, so they go back into the store and they steal from the store, then we're able to put that in and push it forward again to the police. And I don't think either. Like we're able to just put that on and go, here's some more. And then the more you can show that they're repeat offenders, the more the police get involved.
Yeah, definitely. I think, just building that evidence base to the point where, it just can't be ignored. So from your experience, what do you think, what's the number one thing that you think stores should be doing to protect themselves from theft, but also, the associated violence that we know goes with theft?
I would say don't apprehend a suspect or anything unless you've had the right level of training, and that don't approach them. Anyone could be having anything in their pocket, and keeping the staff safe is the most important number one thing. Staff and the public in there, keeping them safe and everything is the most important. So we'll catch up with them at a later date. It's not like they're getting away with it. We do public appeals and we'll catch up with them at a later date. And I think it's really important to stress that fact, because they feel like if they don't get that back right then they're never going to get it back sort of thing. And it's like, well, no, the staff comes first sort of thing. You could have security guards in there that are handcuff trained and stuff. And if they're trained properly, even if the staff member's trained properly or anything like that, then at least you minimise the risk. Obviously, everyone feels very personal to them, like, that's their livelihood. So I completely understand that. It's their livelihood. It's what, it pays the mortgage. It's what pays their staff's rent and their mortgage, or, it's what puts the food on the table. So really importantly, their stock obviously is really important, but staff safety needs to come first. So having the trained level of personnel there and the public appeals side, I think is really important for that morale sort of side of things.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics that are coming out in terms of the number of shop staff that are, assaulted, violently abused, verbally abused every day is so shocking. And so, completely agree, that message to just don't put yourself in harm's way, and then rely on, you, hopefully the police, to actually then identify these individuals. That's so important.
And showing something that something is being done with the CCTV is super important. You've been caught on camera and something is being done here, and then they're like, oh well, I won't go into that store then, I'll choose an easier store. And then every store will get harder and harder if we all start working together. And that's what I keep saying, collaboration, all working together, share information and get this is why I like this project Pegasus, because I feel like it's getting everyone together to share the information and collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's been so refreshing because I think businesses are so used to sort of confidentiality, there's commercial sensitivity. We couldn't possibly, talk to another business. But I think when it comes to crime, we're seeing those barriers come down because actually this is such a shared industry problem that and data is so key to identifying that these offenders are not just targeting one business, that they're moving around targeting multiple ones. What innovations are you seeing that you're getting excited about in the retail crime space? Are there particular sort of technologies that you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, so obviously the artificial intelligence is one of the biggest innovations at the minute, and it is super exciting with that sort of thing. And then there's other innovations like the facial recognition, because it is getting better. AI is always learning, facial recognition is always growing, sort of thing. Everything is getting better, and we're seeing better results. We're seeing better preventions from them results as well, and better consequences, shall we say, from them results. And I think technology is the way forward in preventing it.
Farrah, it's been absolutely amazing to speak to you. I love your company. I love the work you do. I love seeing you on the telly. I've got one last question for you. So you mentioned that you wanted to be a chef. What's your sort of go-to signature dish? What's your favourite thing to cook up when friends are coming around?
Oh, this is so hard. I got so many. So I love doing a stew, just hearty, especially in the winter. If you ask me in the winter, you'll always get a different answer to the summer. That's my go-to. I do the salmon and that, but the kids don't like that, so we try to avoid that one. But my very go-to, probably a curry, a good curry.
Oh, lovely. Oh my gosh. I think everyone wants to come for dinner at your house.
It's just comfort food.
Oh, yeah. Girl after my own heart, definitely. Yeah, I love a good curry. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've absolutely loved talking to you today. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me on as well.